Strategic Institute of Asia Pacific, Dr. Sri Muhammad Iqbal Router, Advisor and Chairman of the Economic Club of Kuala Lumpur, Dr. Doan Doi Kwong, Chairman ASEAN Business Advisory Council, Your Excellencies, organizers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take this moment to probably bring us to a little bit of a broader perspective of ASEAN and the role that ASEAN has played over the last 6 decades or so, and the role that ASEAN should play moving ahead. The impact of COVID-19 and the new norm has come to stay. There is no question about that. Moving forward, we need to put our differences aside and work as one. ASEAN has shown the greatest possible promise. It was begun on the basis of a premise that we will stand against the world. Individually, the countries of ASEAN are not economically capable of taking on any of the trading blocs across the world. However, when we come together, ASEAN is a formidable adversary indeed, and a trading bloc that the world will have to consider. We have the fastest growing youth base. We have close to 600, in a population of 650 million people, we have close to 213 million youth. And that is nothing to be sneered at. We are one of the fastest digital growing populations in the world. And the fact of the matter is ASEAN was begun so that we could hedge our bets against the flow of the political forces around the planet. China is in our backyard, so to speak, or we actually are in their backyard. The United States has always been a force by itself. EU stands on its own. ASEAN will only work when we come together. And the thing that we need to do is, I think, first and foremost, is to bring the various divisions within ASEAN to an end. Bringing ASEAN closer together is our only real hope. There is a North-South divide, clearly, in ASEAN. There always has been. And essentially, the countries in the North are connected historically, culturally, linguistically, and the countries in the South, south of the peninsula, so to speak, are also connected in the same manner. This divide, however, is something that the Thai-Malaysian border is best representative of. Malaysia and Thailand have been always the two unique forces that can bring the divide to work together. And the hope that Malaysia and Thailand bring is the future of ASEAN will actually work. It will be functional. At the Malaysian-Thai border, which is the actual land bridge in between the north and south of ASEAN, we have communities that speak languages on both sides, understand the cultures on both sides, and basically that's where hope springs eternal that ASEAN can actually work together. So moving forward, we need to think in terms of how we can bring the barriers down. The new norm is not going to be any different from the old norm, so to speak. The new norm, in essence, will only work if we bring down the barriers. And this I'm referring to the tariff barriers, the border controls, recognizing each other, skill sets, free movement of labor, and all of that. Malaysia and Thailand represent the real hope of this happening. If Malaysia and Thailand actually prove to be a working collaboration, then the rest of ASEAN will follow suit. There was at one point in time a proposition that the 4 northern states of Malaysia and the southern provinces of Thailand have a special economic zone. I've always considered that a very bold initiative, something that could really work in favor not just of Malaysia and Thailand, but the whole of ASEAN, so to speak. Both of these regions are, in a sense, economically depressed, and the hope that the borders opening up and creating a special economic zone, somewhat in the fashion of Shenzhen in China, would create a flow of movement of ideas, of goods and services, of energies across the borders, the tariffs, making possible the other divisions in ASEAN coming down, so to speak. The potential of ASEAN has always been limited by a lack of digital skills. Now, digital skills are not something that we can force feed or create. It has to begin organically and grow organically. And the COVID-19 approach, the COVID-19 environment actually has fostered this. There have been tremendous growth in terms of digital skills, particularly across the youth in ASEAN, and the future relies on how these digital skills will bring us together. Now, the governments could work together. For the ASEAN youth has demonstrated abilities to adapt to these new challenges by significantly increasing digital adoption, learning new skills, thinking creatively, and developing new business models. Ultimately, ASEAN has been possible and has grown because of entrepreneurship. Now it is the new frontier, the digital frontier, that represents the new area where entrepreneurship could potentially grow and foster. We have given birth to some major digital organizations in this region, and the region is really what we need to be thinking about, as opposed to be thinking about us individually as nations. If we think about us as a region, then there is a real hope for the future moving ahead. Having said that, in the words of someone I rarely quote, President Trump, who has always gone about saying America first, I would like to leave this conference with a different statement, simply saying, if we start by saying ASEAN first, then ASEAN will truly have a future, and ASEAN will be a viable future for us all. Thank you very much.